All right, welcome back to another Husky Ride. Today's video is a special one. I'm bringing on my oldest daughter, Ashley. You've heard me talk about my girls in past videos, but today you get to hear directly from her. So instead of riding the bikes today, we decided it might be easier if we just take them on a walk. But let me tell you a little bit about Ashley. She's 28 now. She's lived in Washington, California, and Arizona. She studied nursing. She worked as a realtor, and she's worked in the mortgage industry now as a broker for, 6-7 years now. Something like that, yeah. So she also lived with her younger sister in LA to kind of look after her while she did some modeling in LA and saw that industry first up close and personal. And now she's about to move back to Arizona. We're excited, and she bought her first home in Gilbert. So it's kind of a full circle for Ashley, and we're so excited to have her back close to us. But without further ado, let's jump into some questions that parents and teenagers always ask. So number one, when you think back to your teenage years, what stands out about our relationship, father-daughter, good or bad?
My most prominent memory is definitely when I was young. You would coach me in soccer. And that will always be one of my core memories because it was such a fun time with the Blue Angels. Then I also remember you worked really long days back then. You were working at Honeywell and you wouldn't get home till late, but I would always be waiting for you. And then when you got home, I'd run over to you and you'd throw me up in the air. I'd be so excited to see you. But as I transitioned to teenagers, probably around high school, I remember we really clashed a lot. And I think it's because we're so similar. I was trying to find a little bit of my independence and probably was rebelling a little bit. But I think it's honestly just because we are so similar. Our personalities are very, very in line. So we just butt heads all the time.
Yeah, that's good. All right, number two. If you could talk to the 15-year-old you, what advice would you tell her?
That's a good question. I would probably if I think about me at 15 years old, I would tell her that comparison is the thief of joy, number one. I think I'm so lucky to have not grown up in the social media age because I can only imagine how much worse it's gotten. But I just remember being so insecure at that age. And I wish I could just go back and give her a big hug and tell her she didn't have to have everything figured out, or she didn't have to be, the same as everyone else in school or all the cool girls. And I wish she would have just was confident in who she is.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for that. So you lived in Arizona, Washington, from Washington back home for a little bit, or to California, and then back to Washington, then back to California, and now back to Arizona. Yeah. How did moving around shape who you are?
I'm so grateful to have lived in 3 different states because it definitely taught me a lot about how to just grow in my independence, number one. Number two, it's really hard making those big moves because you essentially have to start over every single time, but it taught me how to look in the positive direction of every situation, especially in the career I'm in. I really had to be intentional with networking and meeting new people, and I think that definitely made it easier because I had to make all these connections, And then I think living in the 3 different states, not only was it cool that they're so different because of the landscape, but the people were so different in every single location. So it was such a blessing to be able to open my mind and just learn different ways of living in all 3 different places. But I'm definitely very excited to come back to the humbleness of Arizona.
Yeah, we're happy to have you too. We're excited. All right, number 4. So you spent a year up in Seattle, and at least your first year in Seattle, you were studying nursing. What did you take away from that nursing season in your life?
Well, first and foremost, I definitely took away that nursing is not a good fit for me. I don't think I I don't think if I continued down that road, it would be super fulfilling for me. I did take away, though, that it's okay to not make the decision that everyone else around you is making. Because honestly, the reason why I went to school for nursing was because I saw so many people from my high school or just my hometown doing the same thing. And so I thought, maybe I should do that too. And I'm so grateful I didn't, because I'm so business minded. And I just think my career now is such a better fit.
Yes, I'm glad you made that decision too. I think you are a great entrepreneur, and you're smart and you're outgoing. You just have all the skills that, a good business person has. And I think that's why you're doing so successful. So, but I saw that when you made that decision to come back to mortgage, and I was so happy you did that, because it was just you, totally you. So number 5, question 5. So you moved to LA, and it wasn't because you were thinking about moving to LA. Me and Mom kind of called you. I remember that conversation. We called you and we're like, "Hey, your little sister's gonna move to LA and model." And we knew how crazy, we'd heard the stories of how crazy the LA modeling industry just in general is. And we asked you if you wouldn't mind moving down to LA and just kind of living with her and keeping tabs on her and just looking out for her, protecting her. But you had a great opportunity to get back in the mortgage industry at the same time. So how was that whole LA experience with your sister living together and getting back in the mortgage? How did that work out for you?
Well, for starters, we had completely different experiences in LA, me and my sister. But honestly, at the time, I remember being so excited, because when you think of LA, you think of this like magical, fun city. And little did we know, it was quite literally the opposite. Like, everyone knows I do not like LA and I would never live there again. But yeah, at the time I was just so excited, and especially to be there for my sister. Me and Alyssa have always been super close, so I wanted to support her in any way I could. And I was fortunate enough to work from home with the mortgage opportunity. So it really just aligned with what everyone wanted at the time, and I was really happy to do it. But yeah, we definitely did not necessarily like enjoy our time there.
Yeah. And you guys didn't always get along. It was different living with your sister in close quarters. Yeah. And it was stressful, because at the time I was right before COVID, and the homeless population got really bad, and you had like scary homeless situations come breaking into your complex and all that good stuff, or crazy stuff. But we're glad we got you out just in time, and you guys were safe and sound, and now your sister's in Hawaii living her life, and you're flourishing as well. So this is great. So question number 6. So teens growing up now have phones. I just see glued to their hands. What advice would you give a teen growing up now about just the whole phones and social media and technology and everything?
I feel like I can speak on it in 2 ways, because I do think it's such a blessing for me. A lot of my business comes from social media. And so it really can be a tool that you use to catapult you and grow your business or your presence, and you can really monetize off of it, which is amazing. But I think it's a slippery slope, because there's so much comparison. There's so much this feeling of like keeping up with the Joneses, as they call it. Like, you have to, be living that luxurious life so that you can post it online, which is so fake. And I think more people need to know that that's not reality. Like, you don't need to be keeping up with all of your friends online. It's more so just use it as a tool to catapult yourself into that next step, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So now that you've become financially responsible and independent over the past, few years, but you actually struggled a lot with money as a teenager in your early 20s. What changed? What did you learn? How did you learn to change your attitude towards money?
I definitely do feel like I was obviously just not smart with my money in my early 20s, especially, I was that person that did want to keep up with the Jones, if you will. Like I did max out credit cards and I couldn't afford to pay them back. And it was really, really rough. But honestly, how I crawled out of that hole was I just really invested so much into myself and my business. I really saw the trajectory of how much money I could be making in my career. So I found a career that didn't have a ceiling. And I just put all of my time. I was working 12 hours a day, a lot of days, like all of my efforts, working weekends into that one trade. And it took years and years and years. But just over the past, I would say like 12, maybe 18 months, it started to pay off. But it was a 10-year road. I've been in this industry for 10 years, off and on. Yeah. So it doesn't always work out for people that way, you know? Like I am so fortunate to be where I am now. And it did take some level of discipline as far as like setting up a budget, setting up savings, getting into new habits around money. But for the most part, it really is just getting into a career that has no ceiling as far as income goes.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I remember all the talks about budgeting and money that we had, and yeah, you've come a long way, and it's great to see. You're definitely more responsible now with money, and you know, credit. One kind of benchmark you can see is that like for your credit score, right? Yeah. Your credit score goes from one place to another, and you can buy a house and you can do things, totally. And that's how people or the businesses and the banks view us as individuals and put the score on us. You know, if we're accountable with money, and that's one thing that you've proven over the last few years, especially. That you are now a responsible person. Banks are going to lend you money to buy a house. That's pretty cool. And a car, a nice car. So what do you enjoy most about the mortgage industry?
I love this question, and it took me so long to actually figure this part out, because the reason I left mortgage originally and wanted to go into nursing was because I really just didn't feel any level of fulfillment in my job at the time. And I went back to mortgage because, yes, I had a great opportunity, but I think there was also this insecurity I had of, I don't want to do nursing. I didn't go to college. I guess I have to do this, right? It's the only thing I had experience in, and I felt like it was just my best option at the time. Well, as years went on, that's when I started to develop my why in the industry. So my why now is helping people with the biggest purchase of their entire life. Yeah. Buying a home is such a big milestone. And I specifically advertise working with first-time home buyers because I think it's such a special part of their life to be a part of. I think it's such an intimidating concept and idea for most people, but having that call with them and watching it click in their mind and seeing everything come together, and then getting the text of, oh my gosh, it's closing day. Like I could not have done this without you. It's such a amazing thing to be a part of. And I really do think it just took me seeing the level of impact that I have day to day in people's lives. Because once you buy a home, that's like a lifelong investment, typically. Yeah. So just knowing that I'm catapulting them into that next chapter is really, really special.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's exciting for me to see you be excited about it, because buying a house was our like entire net worth over so many decades, and it was our biggest purchase by far. But the reason we moved down to Arizona was to buy it because we could afford a house. Yeah. And in California in 1997 in San Jose, it was so expensive we just couldn't do it. So it was a big move for us to Arizona, and the reason why was because we could get a house.
It requires a lot of sacrifice.
Yes. So question 9, what do you think about me and Mom as parents? Well, what did we do well as parents? I'll rephrase it.
Yes. I think there's a lot that I could say, but I think for you specifically, you instilled in me what hard work looks like. I had such a good role model as this, and I remember working my first job in mortgage, my bosses, who you know, would always tell me and just commend you because you made a lot with little. Like you really, really, really worked so hard. And, you know, we might have penny pinched here and there, but like you made it happen. And you were always very present too. I remember as a kid, which I know a lot of kids can't say about their dads, especially when they have a stay-at-home wife, right? So mom got to stay at home. And I think that was such a blessing for her, especially with Mia and how sick she was. So you taught me a lot of hard work. I would say mom more so taught me just how to have a servant's heart, because mom is someone that she will drop anything and everything to be there for the people she cares about. And I really tried to emulate that and carry that into my adult life as well.
Oh, thank you. Great answers. Okay, the last question, guys. This went quick. What advice do you have for a teen or younger 20s adult who may feel lost or unsure of their future? Any advice for those younger kids?
There's honestly so much I could say. Like I've learned so many lessons up to this point, but I would say, one, don't think there's a right or wrong decision. Just make a decision. Like I see so many people in their teens, in their 20-something years, they have what I like to call analysis paralysis, which is when they have so many options and so many choices in their life. What are they going to major in? Where are they going to get a job? Like all of these things that they constantly, you know, have to be evaluating. I think one of the reasons why I'm so successful is because I am the type of person where even sometimes if it's a bad decision, I just make the decision. I'm quick to make decisions. So don't feel like every decision you make has to be the right decision. Just make a decision, walk down that path. If it doesn't work out that way, don't be afraid to pivot. Like you don't have to make one finite decision and stick with that for the rest of your life. Just, you know, go with wherever life takes you. And I promise opportunities will show up and things will just start to work out for you.
Work hard.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I see in your life. You were always such a hard worker and so kind to people that, you know, opportunities, they open up. And you were quick to pivot because you like to try different things. And, you know, when they don't work, you either move somewhere else but you're always working hard and moving forward. And I think that's so cool watching you now as a 28-year-old. You know, you accomplish a lot. You've got to learn a lot of things that most people don't ever and you got to live a lot of places that not a lot of people get to live in. Okay, well thank you for answering all these questions and joining me on my dog walk.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks
It's
for
always
having
fun.
me.
Yeah. It was a different dog walk today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Ash, thanks for being open and sharing your story today. I know a lot of people are going to relate to this. And if you enjoyed this father-daughter episode, feel free to like, subscribe, and share the video with someone who might need it or get something out of it. And other than that, we're looking forward to Thanksgiving. Ashley went shopping, and she's going to make some good food along with her mom and sisters, and we're gonna enjoy it. And we wish everyone out there a happy Thanksgiving. I'll probably do another video before now and then, but we are happy to have you join us today. And me and the Huskies and Ashley will catch you on the next ride.
Bye.